What up, folks? What it do? Welcome to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Yes, with your boy, Mike Goodwin, the bow-tied comedian. Now, if you've been tuning in for the last 3 weeks, you would know that this month we've been talking about the best advice ever college admissions style. And I have my trusty co-host here.
Hi, I'm Gabby Goodwin. I'm his son or daughter. Whoa, my bad. I was thinking about Michael for a second. I'm his daughter, Gabby. My bad.
Yeah, Gabrielle, my firstborn daughter. And she will be attending Vanderbilt University in the fall, a short month and a half from now. And we have, like I said earlier, been talking about the best advice ever for college admissions. We talked about before the application process, during the application process, and after the application process. We didn't cover like FAFSA and merit-based scholarships versus life scholarship. You gotta go somewhere to get that stuff. We just kind of giving you an overview, a broad brush stroke for college admissions. Did you have anything that you had wanted to share but have not shared to this point?
I don't think so. I think we've talked about a lot of different things.
Yeah, make sure they can see your face, like them behind the mic. Well, this episode, I'm going to do the majority of the talking about what I would like for my daughter and just students in general to know as they embark on the next chapter of their life, as they transition from high school to college. Some of the conversations that we will be having a little bit more in depth, but we're like a good starting point here on the podcast. There's things that are related to your major. There are things that are related to service in the community and on campus. There are part-time jobs. There's so many opportunities for you to be an integral part of your campus fabric. Much more than just going to class and going to your room. Like, get involved. Like, make your mark, network, connect with other human beings on campus. And to that point, get out your room. Like, don't stay in the room. Most times, and this is again another broad statement, most times when kids are in the room all the time, they're depressed. It's depression. And you people call it different. It's homesickness, anxiety, like something's not psychologically well. So you're just in the room. I think about the students that were in the room when I was in college. It's like you get to a point, there's some people that like, hey, I don't want to be at the school anymore. I'm going to transfer. So they may not be not like, hey, I'm not going to invest myself into this campus because I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I'm transferring. I'm dropping out. I unfortunately, when I worked at the University of South Carolina, I had a student unalive himself over Thanksgiving break. And I was teaching a University 101 class. And maybe about 4 weeks into the semester, dude just wouldn't come to class. And man, I had it was University 101. University 101, not even it's a class, but it's for freshmen to get orientated to the campus. So it wasn't a academic course. You know, we had some stuff that you had to do. Maybe there was a book we were reading, but for the most part, I was just informing you about what's all available on campus and campus resources. And I remember seeing, and I remember asking the students in the class, "Hey, man, have y'all seen this student?" A couple of people like, "I seen him. He doesn't look great." And I said, "Well, man, tell him to come talk to me. Tell him to come to class." And then I remember seeing him the last time I saw him. He was walking across the plaza, and I called him, and we had like a brief conversation. And I could tell he wasn't doing well. And I was like, "Hey, man, I know you may feel overwhelmed, but you got somebody to come talk to. Like, come talk to me. Like, I would, my office is, because we weren't even that far from my office. I was like, my office is down the steps, man. Coming." He said, "Yeah, Mr. Goodwin, I'll come." And he never came. And so I often think about him. He did over Thanksgiving break in like a garage on campus. It's very sad. First was from here, this local area here in Columbia. I think it was the Blythewood High. So like, don't isolate yourself, even if you're going through a difficult time, even if something has happened, if there's something that has caused you some distress, some concern, like, please don't isolate yourself. Don't just be in your room. Like, seek help. Let your parents know. Let someone know that is an adult that can point you to some resources and get you the help that you need. Here's another one. It's very, I meant to do like a disclaimer on this of like, you got kids in the car, because this is very, very serious topic I'm about to talk about. This one, so safety, got to be safe on campus. Like, every campus has like little like police car or little police call boxes. Gabrielle's going to Nashville, which is a city, a real city, and Vanderbilt's not closed off, so somebody could wander onto the campus. They probably couldn't get inside of buildings, but they can be on the campus. And so, especially women, especially young girls, have to be very alert. And if you're going to be moving around at night, you can't be doing it by yourself. You need to be with a group. You need to you need to have like some people know where your locations are. Like, you can't be drinking things that somebody handed you. Like, you have to be, there are predators on college campuses. There are people, there are young folks that make bad, poor decisions. Alcohol is prevalent, drugs are prevalent on campus, and sometimes people under the influence endanger other people. And if you're wise, if you're mindful, if you got your head and you're aware about your surroundings and your situations, I encourage you to do your best not to put yourself in bad situations. Just do your best. And again, not to be afraid of everyone, not to be paranoid. But I have I had a personal situation happen. There was a young woman that was in college with me, and we dated for a little while. And then she transferred. She transferred to another college. And this was back then in our day, there was no Facebook. Well, Facebook was coming, like, no, we didn't have Facebook. Like, we started, like, when I started college, we had the internet, but it just wasn't like, I mean, you sent emails, but it wasn't like all these people were connected. So she left, went back to Georgia, and I think I heard word that she was missing, and said she had left one night to go to Walmart, like, and was missing. So I would like check the news feeds and try to see information about her. And then like there would be some people that knew her, like we knew some, like when she transferred, we knew like maybe her roommate, because me and a friend of mine went and visited her one time. like for spring break. So we had a personal connection, and she would say, "Yeah, she's been missing for like 7 days." And then finally one day they found her body in like a field, and end up going to her funeral. We had a birthday. Our birthday was on the same day. She was like really like a female version of myself. Like she played basketball for the school that she, at Lander, but then she transferred out. But she was like, she's not playing ball anymore. But she wanted to do the stuff I was doing. She wanted to join a sorority. She wanted to be a student, like campus person. Like while she was on the basketball team, she couldn't do a lot of stuff because basketball was just so demanding. Like it took a lot of her time. And so she would really be like, man, I wish I could do a lot of the activities that you're doing on campus. But when I transfer, I'm gonna go. And she was an education major, so she probably would have coached. Just had a great personality. Just a good, like, just great spirit. And tragedy happened. And back then, again, like there wasn't a lot of cameras like we have now. We have cameras everywhere. I think there were some cameras in the store, but there definitely were no cameras outside. There was no phones. And honestly, they just caught the guy that did it like 2014. Like this happened in like 1998. Like it went like 14 years without no break in the case. And so I think about that a lot, man. I think about like vulnerable, young lady. And she was not a little lady. Like she was not some petite woman. This is somebody that, I'm thinking, man, this person had a weapon. They had to, do something. I don't know how this person was able to get her to get into a vehicle and take her somewhere at night. But that's what happened. And so I'm so mindful and I spend a lot of time concerned about young women on campuses because that time frame between 18 to like 22, young guys can make some very poor choices and choices that they will regret for the rest of their life. And so I think it's very important for you to be mindful of how you're moving around, like knowing people and having people that you can say, hey, is this person solid? Is this a good person? And then we have the Holy Spirit, man. We got God that is like, hey, man, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel at ease. When I'm around this person, I feel you gotta honor those feelings. You can't ignore things, and then you gotta communicate when you hear bad things. You gotta say no, 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 no. That's not cool. We don't. That's not the way. No, that's. And I think in our generation, especially my parents' generation, I think we I think we protected predators. Like people did things and no one said anything. People were ashamed. They were embarrassed. And I think our generation has been more vocal. And I think your generation is probably the most vocal out of folks that's just like, hey, that's not cool. We won't tolerate that type of behavior. So I really want all students, male and female, but especially young women, to monitor their surroundings. Make sure you're not putting yourself in situations that are dangerous or not, just not the best situations. What do you think about that?
Um, it's definitely a key topic of like safety and things like that. I mean, for me personally, I'm a pretty alert and aware person. Um, so that I'm not necessarily like safety. I'm not worried about, but me being able to be cautious of my surroundings. I mean, that's been instilled in me, and that's something that I am constantly doing. So, yeah, and I know that it may be a bit of a, I don't want to say stressor, but like just um, a thing that my parents obviously think about a lot, especially me going away to another city in another state. But yeah, I think it's just like, as you said, like the continuing to lean on the Holy Spirit and letting Him, like discerning a whole bunch of stuff, whether it be people, situations, events, whatever. So yeah.
And then the other thing too, like, so let's say you are a person of faith, you have a relationship with Christ, you have certain ways in which you move and how you operate, and people are going to recognize that and they're going to appreciate that, or they're going to however they feel. But they might say, "Hey, you can be the designated driver." Like, so you got to be careful not to just be always tagging along with bad, like you're not doing the bad scenario, but you're in the situation. So that's even something to be thinking about, because people are like, oh, we're going to do this, but we don't do that, but you can get us home safely, or just be mindful of, there's a lot of variables, and it's a lot of gray. Like, one of the beautiful things about going to college and having your belief system and being your individual, you got to make choices. You have to navigate through life, and sometimes life is not very black or white. And then maybe there are times you be like, hey, I didn't make the best decision. I could have made a better decision. So it's not that there's an anticipation of, oh, you're not gonna go to parties, you're not gonna hang out, you're gonna do stuff. You're gonna do stuff. You're gonna do stuff. And so in doing things, I think it's important to already be thinking about, okay, because what happens sometimes is you get confronted with a scenario that you never thought about, and now you like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that. And it's like, hey guys, or like even not saying, hey guys, I'm gonna head on back to the room. Like having an out. Hey man, I got an early class in the morning. I'll talk to you guys later. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. I'm gonna call campus to get a ride back to the door. Like, you just gotta have those. You gotta have those responses ready, so that when you start seeing things, because things don't just, some things happen in a like an instance, but then you may be sitting in a party, or you might be in somebody's room and things are cool, like it's a good time, and then four new people come in and it's not a good time anymore, and now it's like, oh, this ain't good. Like, I probably need to exit. That's one thing I'm like a professional at, like, at, like people will be like, I'll go hang out with people, even like now. Like, I got some friends that I made like from college, or folks that I know. I'll go like meet for dinner, or I'll go, like, a buddy of mine will have like somebody watching the game at it. He'll be watching the game, so I'll go by. I'll hang out. People playing cards, people watching the game, all kind of stuff happening, and then I'll leave. I'll leave like 11:30. And then I'll get texts the next day, man. It's like, oh man, when you left, buddy. Oh man. It was like, oh, oh man, where were you at? Oh, I was gone, man. So like, I've for a while I've been able to have I know when to leave. I know when to, okay, it's been a good time. It's been cool. Let me go get some sleep. And then you get texts the next day. Oh my goodness, when you left, such and such got into a fight. And you like, got into a fight? What? What are you talking about? Yeah, man, he got a DUI. A DUI? What? Yeah, he went to the grocery store, man, to get some napkins and got a DUI. So yeah, just to be mindful of, just to be conscious of your surroundings and how things happen and how quickly situations. And then again, everybody's not you. Everybody doesn't have the same boundaries. And some folks are like, oh man, I'm good. Like, this is my fifth drink. I'm good. And you're like, okay, I'll talk to y'all a little later, right? Like I can't keep hanging out. And along with that, these are the last two things. And you gotta get in that gym, man. You gotta get in the gym. You gotta get in that gym. Matter of fact, hopefully when we come back from Atlanta, I think I'm gonna start taking the kids to the gym to show them what they're supposed to be doing in the
Yeah, I don't
gym.
know anything about
Yeah, people don't know.
that.
They like go to the gym, but people don't know
I don't know what to do.
at the gym. So when we get back from Atlanta, I think Planet Fitness has you can bring your teenagers for free. So I'm gonna give them a tutorial on what to do in the gym and how to do the stuff that you want to do in the gym. So that's important to have some type of physical activity. It may not be the gym. You may swim. You may go walking. You may dance in a dance class for an hour. Like it's whatever. Because people talk about the freshman 15, and I don't even know if it's the freshman 15 anymore. But you are gonna be eating late. You got these schedules. You got access to unlimited food. Like at home, I'll be like, hey man, how many plates you gonna get? Like nobody's gonna say that at college. Maybe a friend will be like, hey, big back, big back. Like you don't do that stuff.
You do that.
I don't do that.
Yes, you.
I don't do that to people.
That's a lie.
I don't do that.
That's a lie.
I don't do that. But there's somebody be like, that's very big back of you. So you got to get yourself in a physical routine. And the last thing, go to sleep. You gotta get sleep. One of the biggest things in college is you gotta perform academically. One of the best ways to perform academically is to be rested. So it's hard to perform academically, retain information, be clear in your mind, and you're not sleeping. And that could be even like you're working too long. Like you like, oh, I got these projects due. I gotta stay up to midnight. I gotta get up at 6 in the morning. I gotta go to the like college will engulf you in the busyness and like it'll like the ocean. It could just overtake you. Like it could just cause you to feel like you're drowning. If you're not getting sleep and if you're not taking the time to be prepared for the academic load, because that's I mean at the end of all of this, your job is to do well in your courses. That's why you're at college. You're not at college to join a fraternity. You're not at college to be on the dance team. You're not in college to be in all these social organizations and to go to all these football games and to these parties. That's a benefit. That's a part of college. That's the component of doing well academically. Like you said one time, I think I don't know if it was in this podcast. I think it was one of the early ones we talked about Vanderbilt. It's like work hard, play hard. So it's like a play hard element to college, but you don't go to college to play. You go to college to work, and you go to college to work hard. And then if you work hard, yes, you should be able to play hard. But if you don't work hard and you just playing hard, you're not going to be there long, and you're going to be back in Columbia at the University of South Carolina. So those are some of the things. I think I covered them all that I wanted to talk about in this episode. Maybe this episode may be two-parter, but I think it could go all in one. Any ideas about insights I shared?
um, I don't know. It was a lot of good things. A lot of things we've already talked about, or I've heard from my parents or other college students, or just advisors in general. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. And Just
Oh, I forgot
seeing
one.
things. Oh, okay.
You got to understand money. So that's gonna be another one. You got to start learning about money, how to operate money. Matter of fact, there's a book I have. I'll give you a copy called "The Psychology of Money." Like we got to just start thinking about money, and we already talk about money and have conversations, and there's an expectation around growth and abundance. But I think college is also a great time to start establishing good habits, good traits, and understanding money. Even looking for opportunities to make some money on campus. Back in the day, I would see people like they would type people's paper if they were like great. They could type. There were some people that could cut hair. They're barbers. So there was like people that had some entrepreneurial spirit on campuses. Um, I learned, when we would throw parties. So we would throw parties, and we would have to, hire a DJ, get the facility, hire security, and we had to look at how many people, like how could we break even? How much money do we need? So being a part of fraternity, we had to like create ways to make money for the chapter, for the organization. And so that started getting my mind thinking about, okay, one of the things I remember from like school is like parties. So when we would throw a party for the fraternity, it was for us, we were not there to party. We were there to make sure everybody at the party had a good time. So we were working the table. We were making sure people weren't doing stuff stupid in the bathrooms. Like we walking around. We're also making sure that everybody's on the dance floor. So maybe there's some people that's not dancing. They just like watching. Like you go get those individuals. Hey, come on, let's get your dance on. Let's have a good time. When you come to the Kappa party, you have a good time at the Kappa party. So we were hosts. We were throwing the party. We were not like, hey, I'm at the party. No cares. And no, 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 no. We're here to work. We're not here. We're not here to party. We partying, but we're hosting the party. We're being hospitable. We are the mind. That's why, we have the chapter that I'm in, we have like a Christmas thing, and like we have a table, and I host the table. Like I get people, I invite people, they buy their tickets. So I'm making sure everybody, they get parked. They get their coats to the coat room. They get to the table. Hey, here are some, the food is open from this time. You can have there's some beverages over here. Like I'm hosting, even though it's a party and it's a lot of other people that are there representing the organization. I'm still, it's important for me to make sure that the people that I have invited are having a good time or enjoying the festivities. So that was a business lesson I learned related to entrepreneurship in college. I understood, okay, when I throw a show right now, I show, I'm there to work. I'm there to do comedy, but I'm also thinking about, okay, what music is playing? What we got videos showing? Okay, what does the lobby look like? How's the merch set up? Where are they parking at? We're going to do a VIP. What happens in the VIP? What are we doing? Q&A? Are we having some hors d'oeuvres? Like what are the things that will create an experience? Like I don't want you to just come to a comedy show. I want you to have an experience. And that was one of the things I learned in college when I was like, oh, when you come to a Kappa party, there's an experience. Like you just ain't coming to dance. Like you coming to, oh man, the Kappas really know how. Oh, they got some water. Oh man, there's cups of water over there. You get a little hot. All those things that you got to kind of consider when you're doing things. So yeah, that's something, thinking about money, how to make money, how to generate money, how save money. All those things are very important for the college student. Now, we probably need to have a one before the semester over, and like, how do you come back home after semester of college? Because that's a big issue too. Because like, you home for Christmas, and you're like, oh, I'm about to go and hang out. I'm like, hey, because at campus, you be like, hey man, we in the lobby till 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, you ain't in the lobby till 2 o'clock in the morning when you come back home from college. So that's where parents and students have a little bit of headbutting, because people come back from college after acting the fool, not acting the fool, but just kind of being autonomous, having all this freedom, and then you got to come home. You got to put back on them chains. You got to put them chains back on. Shake it, clack, clack. Oh, clack, clack, clack. Clacker, clacker, clacker. So that also presents some challenges for the family. Anything you want to share before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I don't know. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, everybody. Thanks to give Gabrielle a round of applause for having her be a part.
It's not my first podcast, but I'm here as a host for the first time.
Yeah, first time being on multiple podcasts with the same topics. So yes, thank you for joining us, being the first guest, the inaugural guest. I think it's been very successful. I think we covered a lot of topics, a lot of good information. It's been shared. I hope people will garner some nuggets and get some good information. Even if your kid is not getting ready for college, maybe your kid's in middle school, but you can come back to this episode in a few years, and hopefully this information will be very timely to you. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been a pleasure to share this podcast with my daughter. Excited that she'll be a student in the fall and all the things. Like I'm truly proud of her. I'm truly excited. People kind of ask me like, is that where you wanted her to go? Like, what was your? I really didn't have any. Like, I think somebody asked me recently, are things how I envisioned them? Like, so now that we're here at senior year, she's going like, did I see these things? And I told him, I said, man, I did not envision anything. I didn't have any kind of expectation other than I wanted her to write her own story. I wanted her to have the ability to craft the type of story in which she's excited about, not the type of story that I would be excited about. If that was the story, my daughter would be playing basketball maybe, or volleyball, some form of athletics, and we would be like going to AAU stuff and doing camps and doing like private coaching and all. Like if I was like, oh, we gotta get you a scholarship, that kind of thing. She's pretty tall. It's like, yeah, man, we gotta get her out here on this court. We gotta get it. Like that would have been me pushing in an agenda, me saying, oh yeah, this is what I want for your life. But I don't like. I got my own life, and so I am truly a parent. I am truly a sage guide, someone that is going to walk alongside and give you information and give you encouragement or correction, whatever is needed. But I didn't. There was no. I was good with all the choices. Like had it been she would have been in North Carolina A&T. I don't know. So I just was open to all the things. Like I was good if she would have said any of the four that were like her final four, I'm good. So I didn't have a place that I was kind of secretive, like, oh, she gotta go here. But Vanderbilt's It's a great selection, and I'm excited for. I'm excited for uh, going to parent weekend and doing all that stuff and moving her in and picking her back up. So yeah, just excited and want to let her thrive and grow and just be the best version of herself. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place. Now we'll be back to regularly scheduled program, and I won't be on a particular topic. I'm just going to give you the general best advice ever. So thank you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. See you next time. Peace.